Hey guys, how y'all doing? It's been a while since we've done a video right here on Jihad's 78 channel. I've been busy, with work and things, so haven't really had much time to do a video. The last video we did was a very brief video about my video game room. It's still not ready, so in the meantime I'm gonna try and give you guys some filler to keep watching my channel to make sure I haven't disappeared off the face of the earth. So today, as you can clearly see, or I hope you can clearly see, we'll be talking about the two Sega Saturns that I have in my possession. These are not my original Sega Saturns. My first Sega Saturn was back in 1996. Yeah, that's about it. Yeah, it was back in 1996, and the store had the black North American NTSC version. This one, that one over there are both Japanese, but we'll get to the differences in a minute. We'll start off with this one. I picked this one up at a flea market sale back in 2010. It was just, it was in okay condition. Of course, I had to give it some Mr. Magic Eraser. It has a crack right here. Isn't much to be proud of, and somebody had already opened it when I found it. Here the screw was already blown. Basically that means that your warranty is void. But for a machine from back in 1994 or 5, the BIOS on this one boots up and it says 94. I don't think there's many warranties for Sega Saturn these days. Now this one, although it is made to play, these Japanese games, like the one on top over there, this one was made for the Hong Kong and Singapore market, because the power that this baby will take is 220 to 240 volts, which is different from what they have in Japan. I'll do a quick comparison on the labels later on, and at 50-60 hertz. Let's just pry this thing open. When I bought this from the guy, he didn't know that you could open the compartment here, and the first thing I did was open it because I knew the battery was dead. So I changed the battery down there, but then I noticed that, what the hell was this thing? So I took it out, and let's just see if we can give you guys a better look here. This is going to be a little painful because the thing is really wedged in there. Oh, this is so annoying to do with one hand. Came with this Sega Saturn video CD card, but the logo was different. I think somebody had this in a North American Sega Saturn. They put it in this Asian model, if you like, but it works flawlessly, and this one is first party as well, which is pretty nice. Although several were made by Hitachi or Victor Saturn or Hitachi Saturn. They had different logos. They were all first party, I guess, but this one's pretty cool actually. With this you can play your video CDs. I don't know if many of you guys have them. I have a couple, so I was able to test it, and believe it or not, the video CDs on this Saturn, I am going to break this thing. The video CDs on the Saturn play much better on the Saturn than they do in my DVD player. On my DVD player it looks all pixelated and stuff. Let's just go have a quick look. Yeah, it's nicely in there. That's how it goes in. It's very pixelated on the DVD player if you play a VCD. I guess the resolution just can't, on HDMI can't do it, but with a pair of just generic composite cables, you get it's reasonably clear. It's not DVD, but it's definitely better than VHS. This thing will play audio CDs as well. It doesn't take a rocket science to fix that out, and you don't need the video card to play audio CDs. The Action Replay card I have here, I think that's the foreign one. I'm not quite sure. I haven't been able to test it yet. Basically, I use that to play games from other region. Now about games, this one, both of them will play Japanese Saturn games right out of the box, without the respective cartridges they have in there. But there are a couple of North American games that I like. This is, this isn't the best game out there, but I was always a fan of the Strike series, so I got this. I need those action replay cards to play games from North America. Now, this one plays okay, but it's like I can't get past the first stage. It'll freeze. It will freeze. But fortunately, this game has a password setting, so I just have to jump to stage 2, and and it plays the other stages fine. But at the end of stage 1, it'll freeze. I don't know if is it the Saturn. I tried this game on both Saturns with both respective cards, not interlinked. Just this one had the black cartridge, this one had the action replay cartridge. It's the same thing, it freezes. Now, for these Saturns I use composite with a very, very weird 10-pin, strangely built pin. The basically Saturn will output RF composite, like here, which is your generic middle, probably the middle of the range. Composite's better than RF. And then finally, this thing will put output S-video. I've seen a couple of videos on YouTube where some guys, they mod them so it outputs SCART or maybe even VGA. I don't know. I don't think the Saturn can process the hardware that high, for a machine that's almost 20 years old. But that's the basic standard stock outputs this Saturn will do. Now this one over here is also a Japanese Saturn, but hence you can see it's missing the video CD sticker over here. I found this one at a flea market about a month ago, or about 3 weeks ago. It came with that multi-game adapter, which is inferior to that action replay adapter. Why? This one will just let you play games from other regions. You're not going to play X-Men vs. Capcom or 1 or 2 or any games that need extra RAM or some of the other Capcom fighting games. This will not do that. This will just let you play any standard game that doesn't need it, like this one over here. So anyway, I bought this. I'm like, you know what, I've got a Saturn, but for the price he was offering, it was cheap, and with that, it was worth it just for the game adapter. So I went home and I noticed that this one, I checked it's a good thing that these things come with labels. This one runs, as you can see, this one runs at 100 volts with 12 watts. It's like it takes half the power of this one. Let's just have a quick look. You see right there, if it focuses, 220 to 240 volts. But this one, just 100. So I plugged it in with my step-down converter, and it didn't work. I'm like, alright, well, it's obviously dead. And this one didn't come with anything. It needs a new battery. I need to pick one up soon, because it's annoying. I think it's still 1994. So it didn't work, and I took it to a store if he could fix it. Now the money he was charging was highway robbery. So I went ahead and ordered one from Hong Kong, and fortunately the guy had one piece left, literally one piece on his website. Little advertisement here from the Game Doctor. You see right there, GameDoctorHongKong.com. Guy has a lot of good stuff. You guys should check him out. From Hong Kong to Bahrain over here, we're both in Asia. It took about 6 days to get here. Now this is the original PSU that was in that Saturn, and as you can clearly see, the fuse here is burnt. Excuse me. But to get one of these, I'll tell you what, not all the PSUs are the same. The PSU in that Saturn is shorter than this one and only has 4 pins to ground, or this one has 5. There's like little spikes that go into the hole back here. So this one was dead. It was just the fuse. I'm gonna keep this. I'm gonna try and get it fixed. I'm gonna put it back in that Saturn. Why, you may ask? You've replaced it. It powers up fine. The one that I got from Game Doctor, just I don't know if he made if it's homemade. It looks different. You can see here, although it says 100 volts, this thing has a tolerance level of about 125 volts. You can't really see it, but you can just see it above the gray ports. 125 volts at 1.6 amps. 6 amps. So I think you could use this in the United States or in Japan. Alright, moving along, we've spoken enough. So I replaced the PSU with another one. If it's generic or secondhand or whatever, it works nicely with a step-down converter. I don't like the way the door opens here on this one. And it works flawlessly. So a cheap Saturn, it was busted, it was replaced for about the equivalent of 10 or 12 US dollars. I was lucky it was the last piece, because I went back to see if I can get another one. He didn't have any. And you got to be careful, because the PSUs are not all the same. You got to open your Saturn and you got to check what kind of PSU is in there. As I said, this Saturn has, when you stick it in, the pins in here are only for 4. This one has 5, so it's different. Just for your information, you can't just swap them. You got to find. Now moving along now, I got one controller, Mad Catz. This is generic third party. It's not the same. No, it's okay. I got this because it was cheap. The same guy who wanted to fix the Saturn wanted a ridiculous amount of money for a 3D controller. So I told him I'll pass and just take that one. Now, I don't have that many Saturn games, but what I do have is Wing Arms. This is a shooter set in the World War II. It doesn't feel like 3D. It feels like 2D, that with special features. I got this because the same guy in the same store had some Japanese Saturn games that he didn't want. I got this one complete with the manual. This game is okay. It's very old. It came out back in 1995. It's probably one of the early titles. It's okay. The controls are okay. The graphics are nothing to write about. I mean, come on, the game is old. If you do see it, if you can get it cheap, if World War II shooters are your thing, go ahead, be my guest. But don't pay a lot of money for it, thinking it's a classic. It's not a classic. It's okay. It's okay. Here's another game I have. I've been told this game is quite hard to find. The Battle Action for Sega Saturn. What a weird name when you put the name of the console into the game. This game is really strange. One of these days I'm gonna have to hook this up to my TV and show you what it looks like. But you have characters with oversized heads and you gotta beat up everyone. The collision detection on this game isn't that great. It's okay. I mean, it's nice. There are a few things for it. This game came out in '97 by Athena. Now by '97 I think the Saturn was on its way out in Europe and North America. But in Japan I hear they support it until the year 2000, so for them this was just the start. The Saturn had really got good support in Japan. Anyway, I got this game complete, spine card and all. I don't know why collectors are gaga about the spine card. I got the disc right here. And that's that. I don't know why this game's expensive. I really don't. I think it's overrated, overpriced. It's nothing special about it. There's a lot of better Japanese Saturn games you can get out there, especially if beat 'em ups are your thing. Now this is Dynamite Dika. That's what it says there in Japanese apparently. But as you all know, some of you might know, some of you don't know. This was based on Die Hard, specifically Die Hard 2. This game came out in '97 as well. You can see it right there, 1996-97. This is based off the arcade game. I believe this game came out on the PS1 as well. You can see the reference here. The guy really looks like Bruce Willis. This is a nice game. I like it. Unfortunately it's in Japanese. There are some real-time decisions you have to make where you gotta push punch or kick or jump. I get confused. I have to take a chance and just push any button, and occasionally I'll punch the guy, I'll kick the guy or whatever. Whoops, action replay codes. Now this game is really fun to play, especially if it's 2 players. Here's those silly spine cards again that you guys are all gaga about. Once again, this game is complete. It's in pretty good condition. This game was sitting there sealed for, let me see, 97 to God knows when. Recently, I picked this game about a couple of years ago, so it was dormant for a very long time. You know, it's covered in dust. I didn't even want to open it, but I needed to see if play some Saturn games. So yeah, out of the 3 Japanese games that I think that's my favorite. Oh, this thing doesn't want to close. That's probably my favorite out of those 3 Japanese games. And another game I was able to pick up in the store is Soviet Strike. I had this back in the day on my original Saturn, my North American Saturn, so I wanted it back again, to play it again. I know this game is available on PS1, but this one has, well, people, you know, said this one's better. I think this one's better in the sense that it has as it says here, 2 new weapons. Has a wingtip weapon and twin 40mm autocannon. You can't really see it there. My camera isn't that great, but this one supports the 3D pad and the missions and the Sega mission stick. I tested this in the store. The guy had the controllers. Literally, you plug it in and the Saturn will recognize what's been plugged in. You know, the Saturn never got justice. It never got a chance. And the 3D controller, I can't really tell you guys now, but Sega had plans for it, but they dropped the ball on the Saturn. So, you know, it'll always be for me, though, the big what if. You know, what happened anyway. Again, this game was complete. It wasn't sealed, this game. He gave it to me cheap because somebody had it was in the store for years and nobody wanted to pick it up. I think somebody exchanged it back in the day for another game, I don't know. But again, it's complete. It's got the manual. It's a nice game. Not amazing. I only got it because I like it. I like the Strike series. So there you have it. That's a little sampler for now. More to come, hopefully. Sega Saturn. On the left here, Asian version, and your Japanese version on the right. I would recommend the Saturn to anyone out there who's into collecting. You know, the Saturn is definitely an underrated system and received no justice. So shame on you, Sega, for dropping the ball on this machine. I believe it had potential to last at least 2 or 3 more years. You know, regardless of the fact if it was difficult to program for by, you know, some people say that's the excuse that's been given. But thanks for watching. I hope you appreciate the video. Any comments or suggestions, as you know, always welcome, and you know, we can always talk. Jihad78 signing off. Have a good one.